Lesson 13 talks about problems that deal with comparing and elapsed time. And our first question is a word problem. It says, there were 324 girls and 289 boys in the school. How many fewer boys than girls were there in the school? Now, if you remember our four-step process from a couple lessons ago, we know the first thing is to identify what type of pattern we have. Now, the question says, how many fewer? If we have how many fewer, that's a key word there. Fewer means less than, so we're going to be working with subtraction. So, how many fewer boys than girls were there in the school? What we're going to have to do is subtract. We're going to have to say 324 minus 289. And 324 minus 289 will tell us the difference between the number of boys and the number of girls. Let's go ahead and do that math. 324 minus 289. We can borrow from the 3. We've got 12, but we're going to need to borrow again, so we have 11. And we have 14. 14 minus 9 is 5. 11 minus 8 is 3. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So we have an answer of 35. We need a unit. We've got boys. 35 boys would be our answer. Now, our next problem is going to be looking at an elapsed time problem. And the question says, how many years were there from 1492 to 1620? If we want to look at that, how many years were there between these two, we've got to figure out what the difference of 1620, I'm right-clicking, 1620 minus 1492, what the difference between these numbers would be. Let's go ahead and do the math. 1620 minus 1492, because we're figuring out how many years were in between. If you haven't gotten to use the pen for the computer yet, go see Mr. Wilkinson and Ash. He'd be happy to let you use it. We're going to borrow from the 6 to get a 5. We've got 12. And we're going to have to borrow from 12 to get 11. We now have 10 minus 2, which gives us 8. 11 minus 9 gives us 2. 5 minus 4 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have 128. This is a word problem, so we need a label. And it's going to be 128 years. And we're all done. We could check our answer by saying 1492 plus 128. And when we add this, we should get an answer of 1620. So 2 plus 8 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 2 more gives us 12. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 more gives us 6. And we bring the 1 straight down, we get 1620. That's exactly what it should be. So there are 128 years between these two dates. Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809 and he died in 1865. How many years did he live? What do you think you have to do to solve this problem? Do you think you have to do addition or subtraction? Hopefully you said subtraction, because we need to figure out the difference between these 2 years. We're going to have to subtract 1809 from 1865. So let's do that. 1865 minus 1809. When we go through this subtraction to find our difference, remember we're using the minuend minus the subtrahend gives us a difference. We're going to borrow from the 6 to get a 5. We've got 15. 15 minus 9, that's 6. 5 minus 0 is 5, and 18 minus 18 is 0. So we get 56. Abraham Lincoln only lived for 56 years. He had 56 really productive years, though, but he was not that old when he was assassinated. Now, let's go ahead and look at our next question. And that's going to be in class when we look at the lesson practice on page 66. Make sure you've got your notes completed. Okay, and I will see you in class prepared and ready to go. Hope you have a nice afternoon.